fucking do it.
There we are. We are live.
Dude, we made it back. We did 1 week.
We were like
3-week hiatus.
We were like, hey, we're gonna go live for you guys every single week. And we did it once, and then we're like, oh man, we're really busy on Friday. And then we just stopped going live. What were you up to for the last 2 weeks?
Dude, I went to Washington, went rock climbing with my girlfriend, and then that was 3 weeks ago. And then the weekend after that, I went to Jesse Itzler's Running Man down in
nice
Georgia, which was pretty sick. Went with some buddies. And then last weekend, I don't know, you were up doing something. What were you doing?
I was in Tejas I had 2 events I was speaking at. So one was the military, the War Room with David Perret.
Yep.
And then do you know Kai
that
Logue?
looks sick, by the way.
Yeah, it was really cool. Do you know Kai Logue by any chance?
I don't know him.
He puts on a really good it's an event that he does every single year. He calls it the Wholesaling Syndicate Live. And so they had RJ Bates there, some other big players that were in there. And so like day one was presentations. Then they break out into boiler rooms. They have sponsors that come out. So like iSpeed, the lead was there, sponsored some of it. And then they just like gave away free leads, and they started doing some closings and closed deals live. So I was in Texas. You know what I noticed about Austin? Do you have any clients in Austin, like specifically in Austin?
Dude, I have clients who live. I have probably like 5 people who live in Austin, but
Same.
No one does deals in Austin.
It's strange. I've got one girl who does all of Texas, so she'll get some Austin deals. But dude, driving through Austin, it looks like a wholesaler's paradise because there's like crack house after crack house, and then right next to it is like a 750K new development. It's like, I'm like, man, as soon as I got back, I was like, I got to test out the Austin market because.
Did you launch a campaign there?
Not yet, but I want to, because we're in Houston and we're having really good success inside of Houston. But I haven't tried Austin yet. And I don't know why. Like I don't hear of like huge wholesalers inside of Austin, but man, it looks like it kind of reminds me of LA.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it's like very liberal. So you got like a mixture of like rich people that live there and like, you know, crack house. It's like very different than like Orange County, California, and things like that. So yeah, man, it was cool getting back to Austin. So what's up with the biz, dude? What's working for you right now?
Dude. Yeah, so that's actually a good question. So what I would say about Austin too, is side note, is Denver's the same way. It's like $1.7 million, $1.5 million house, tear it down.
Crack house. Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah, dude. So what's working right now? I'd say the biggest thing that's working right now is honestly just driving people to make deals happen. I think right now, like from the shift that we've had, like we obviously moving from more innovation stuff to cash, there's like this like lull period where you have a bunch of bad inventory and you still got to make money. So I think the biggest thing that we've been doing is just really pushing the team and all the clients to just go and drive offers and generate offers and then just make a retrade happen. Like one of the guys who we work with, he was having a real tough month. One of the guys who we're partner with, and he's like only had 27K in the pipe to close over the next 30 days, which not good, way below average. Like normally he's doing about 75 to 100K a month for this guy specifically. And in 10 days, roughly a week and a half, he went from no deals closing, nothing to 98K hard EMD set to close over the next 30 days, just from going to put deals together. So, you know, we just walked through basically his entire stack of deals that he had. Yeah. And he had like an agent handling his dispo, which I told him he shouldn't be doing anyways. But he just went through, called all the people who went to the properties, fucking got them to make an offer, got some retrades, worked some deals, and just I mean, I think he sold 4 deals, made, put 73K in 10 days. So not bad.
I got another Google trend. What's up, GTM? What's your name, bro? GTM. What's up, John? You helped me and my brother close our first deal at 17. I'm assuming, is that 17 the age or $17,000? That's dude. All right, let's talk about this for a second, bro. Since this is what we do on this, we call it like a podcast. We don't really know what it is. It's just
we just bullshit on here all day.
We'll just tell you guys what we're seeing. 17 years old, bro. Can we give him like a fucking round of applause? Dude, I wish you were young. What's up, Caleb? Congratulations, man. Great job.
Yeah, congrats,
I've
bro.
been telling these guys. So I've had two guys join my coaching group in the last like basically 30 days that have done over 100K a month, and they're like 18, 19 years old.
That's
And
bro.
I was saying, like, you know what this time period reminds me of? Is it reminds me of 2022. A lot of like 2021, 2022, where people are, I think we're back, bro. Like people are making stupid money. Like the right people are just making a stupid amount of money. So I've been seeing a lot more really young kids that are making, 100K, 150K, 200K a month, really good profit margins. And we talked about Google Trends last time. So I'm going to share something with you, bro, that Lane actually showed me.
Let's see it.
So last time, if you guys weren't on, we talked about like how wholesaling is doing compared to like, a couple of years ago, like how saturated is it? And so let's go to Google Trends. So we're going to start it out the same way. We're going to type in wholesaling and see what interest looks like right now compared to like the past 20 years or so. So interest is still dropping for wholesaling. So the peak of people being interested in wholesaling was 2020. Now, this is why I think this is the time where people are making money. So we looked up last time, sell my house fast, right? I think that was one of the keywords. And can you guys see my screen, by the way? Can you, Chandler?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're watching it.
Cool.
I'm just enthralled right now.
Yeah. So sell my house fast, like looks like NVIDIA stock, right? Skyrocketed. But let me exit that out and let me show you something pretty crazy. Help with my mortgage.
Dude, I was actually playing around this other day.
So let me get rid of wholesaling because it's a less common used term. But look, so this was 2009, right? The peak was 2009. And if you look right now, we have surpassed 2009 for people searching for help with my mortgage, right? Now, the crazy part about this is that the market hasn't corrected as hard as it did in 2009, right? Like obviously some markets are softening up. There's more inventory. But if you look at distress over the last, like basically from 2000, what was this? 2010, maybe even sooner, right? 2010, yeah, all the way to 2024, kind of like a flat line, little bit of a dip. This was right when COVID kicked off, March of 2020. So people got laid off. It looks like there was a little bit of a spike right when COVID hit. And they were like, oh, I need help with my mortgage. But then they all got forbearance. So they didn't actually need any help with their mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no forbearance anymore. So look, it's actually an all-time high, August of 2025, of people that are searching help with my mortgage. And so this is like, it's the time that, and it makes sense. I'm just seeing a lot more people make money.
I'm seeing the same thing. So like just on the marketing side, running for some people's Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And dude, so this is interesting. I'll just open up an ad account real fast. Let me share my screen.
Oh,
how do I do this?
I like this. The present button at the bottom.
Dude, I'm learning how to do it right now. I'm seeing the tips. I had to make sure I read the tips,
You got to ask ChatGPT how to share your screen.
How to do this shit. So I'll basically pull this up. So this account, this is one that's in a small metro. It's like 250,000 people. You can see the cost per lead's kind of high, and that's just because it's a small metro. It's $159. That's what happens if you're in a small metro running digital. It's hard to get a cheap cost per lead. However, I'm going to show you this. So what we've been testing is we've been trying to figure out over the last month how to get CPL down substantially. We're running some different ads, but this one right here, anytime I've launched this type of ad, this is literally, it just says foreclosure, bankruptcy, stress. I have multiple options for you to keep your house.
Wow.
Dude, 2 leads, $47. Like this type of messaging is crushing across all the campaigns from cost per lead and quality. So I agree. I think I'm seeing the same things. Like the demand for people who are in financial stress is higher than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, it's like that's who we should be targeting right now. Is I'll tell you one more story. I got a guy, he's always been at like 70, 80K a month, but like not the best margins, but now they're just doing foreclosures. And I think they said they did 600K this quarter. with
Damn,
50% profit margins.
that's great.
Just targeting foreclosures. They do cold calling, which I'm not a big fan of cold calling personally. Like it works obviously, and they're crushing it. And then I've got another girl in my group who she's a big, like she's in sub 2 and she helps coach in sub 2. So they've got a bunch of people that are cold calling for them, and they crush it with cold calling. So it definitely works. But yeah, it's like right now, how do you optimize for people that are in foreclosure, people that need help with their mortgage, financial distress, because that is the clear, like it's the clear motivation right now in the market. It's people that need help with their mortgage. I don't think we've seen. So I'm going to look at my my Salesforce account since we're pulling stuff up. If I look at transactions created this quarter, let's see. We're in the sharing stage. So
It's like the honeymoon stage just for podcast.
I'll go created date. So this is an interesting thing. So if I look at this quarter, created date, normally we're like half of follow-ups. So it's like 42 contracts for the quarter. But if I go date time originally created, and I do this quarter, so that means the lead came in this quarter.
So you got
just
42 contracts this quarter is what it seems like.
Yeah,
damn,
but
so like you're
30
like 80%, 90%.
new contracts. So what's 35 over 42?
It's 83%.
83%. So that's uncommon for us. Usually we're like, 60%, 50-60% of our contracts are from new leads. And then, another 40-50% is going to be from follow-ups. Like we're just, we're working. But right now, and this isn't, I don't believe this is just for my account. I was just on a one-on-one with one of my students who's also running Facebook, by the way. And it was the same thing. It was like 80% of his contracts are coming from new leads, like one call closes. And so that kind of just tells you the people that are one call closing are typically the ones that, they're ready to do something. They're bottom of funnel. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I like capitalizing on, Facebook or search right now, because the distress is out there. And I think this is why we have so many 18, 19, 20-year-olds making, 6 figures per month right now. And they just got into it because, dude, the market's it's a great time to be in the market if you can figure out Dispo. So let's talk about Dispo for a second.
I was going to say Dispo is the crux that I think is going to wipe a lot of people out. I really think the crux is going to wipe most people out. It's underwriting, actually. I think Dispo obviously is important, but I think underwriting is where, because I mean, in my opinion, if you miss underwrite it, like let's say you get a seller who's going to sell to someone like us, like cash offer type person, and you just miss your number by like 20K. Like you could have gotten them at the price that would have made you money, but they may not. Like if you're not good at necessarily like a retrade, you're not good at Dispo.
Yeah, they hate you after that,
you're just not going to get the deal.
They hate you. They're like,
yeah, exactly. They're pissed.
You're the guy that I was expecting, the person that's going to give me an offer and then lower it at the last minute. Yeah. You can't be doing that in today. There's so many people that they try to do that because that's their business model. So yeah, the seller hates you the second that you do that. So walk me through, you said that you had a guy that was using an agency or an agent for Dispo.
Yeah, he was using a realtor.
Oh, a realtor. Okay.
Yeah, a realtor. Yeah. So
they say they get mad when you call them realtor. You have to call them
realtor. Actually, dude, apparently you have to pay to be called a realtor.
A realtor. They're very specific. I had somebody comment on one of my posts. It's realtor, not realtor. So tell me about what'd you tell him to do?
Yeah. So this is a good question. So he had like 13 deals in escrow contracts, right? They obviously aren't all deals because that's why they're not selling. But the point is, we went through each of his deals. I was like, bro, dude, you've gotten 2 contracts a week for the last like 6 or 7 weeks, and like we've closed. You just haven't been like your pipeline should be way thicker than it actually is, and your closings just seem a little bit lighter than they should be. And so we would go through. I said, pull up your fucking pipeline. So we have a pipeline sheet that we have all of our clients use and any business that we're in. People go through. We go through it, look at everything. And I'm like, how many walkthroughs does this one had? How many walkthroughs does this one has? How many offers does it had? And he's like, no offers, like 10 walkthroughs. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you guys doing? First off, politely. but
I'm not
he,
polite.
no, I wasn't polite. I just was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
And anyways, he was like, well, I got the realtor. I was like, dude, just go call those people and like close a deal. And so like, I'll go back to like 2022. This is like the first time where I ever had to experience this, where the market was going up and up and up. And then boom, June 2022 or July 2022, it just fell off a cliff. And we had like $1 million of like deals in the pipeline that were like solid that we were going to close in the next probably 45 days to 60 days. And then they just all vanished because rates went up, at least in Atlanta. Our pipeline went down. I mean, shit, our price point for an average as is home, 10-15% right away. Margins 10%.
More for me. I lost 600 grand back then. So I was flipping like an idiot.
Yeah, we only owned like 6 properties at the time, but they were all 100K deals, but they only went to like 20 or 30, which is
okay.
So it wasn't, anyways, side note, point is what I did, I was like looking, I was like, dude, like we gotta, I mean, at the time our break even on the month, because we were doing like about average for the last like 4 months was about 400K. Our break even was 245, 250 in that neighborhood. And so I was like, dude, we're going to take a fat L if we don't figure out something. So I just told him exactly what I did. So what I did was I went through every single person, all of our interested buyers, and just called every single person. And I was like, hey, like seller needs to sell this house. Like, what would you guys offer? And I put 3 deals together. It was like 80K just from doing that one thing. Then I had my team go and do the rest of it. But basically just got offers. If they were a little bit lower, went to the seller, retraded, made a deal happen, made the spread, and then moved on. And so basically I just told him like, hey, go and call all the people who walk the property, tell them you're looking to make a deal. And if the buyer's interested in getting a good deal, then you're willing to work with them. Not saying you're going to steal it, but you know, you can definitely get a good deal and buy with equity. If that's something that they're interested in, they should make an offer. And then get a few people on the table if you can, but then go negotiate with the seller as needed or whatever. At least you know how you can make a deal and you have a chance. Like it's like, at least it's like going to the plate. I played baseball. It's like if you struck out looking and you didn't swing, then you just look like an idiot. At least strike out swinging, you know, like at least give it a try. So that's basically what I told him. And if you're good at sales, then you're going to be able to figure out how to put a couple deals together from doing that. So that's what I told him what he did.
Yeah, it's been a big change for us too, because when I used to, so in 23, 24, I had a dispo rep, but she was an agent. She was extremely experienced, and you know, she didn't have to do a lot of negotiations. Basically, she was just really good at talking to agents and talking to investors. So she was like a broker of record for 15, 20 years, just knew everything about real estate, right? And so when people came in, she knew how to put a deal together. But then when the market started shifting, we're like, man, we need an outbound team. Like we need actually to do outbound. So now our dispo, they're an outbound. It's an outbound position. It's not just answer your phone. Is your buyer interested? Okay, go walk the property. Let me know if they like it. That's what our conversations were like before. And then eventually we're like, dude, our properties are just not selling. So right now we're heavy outbound on dispo. You're calling everybody. So our rule of thumb, and for our dispo right now, in order for him to hit his contract to close target, he needs to get 3 written offers on each property. Every property we have, you need to get 3 written offers. Now, sometimes the 3 written offers are lower than where we need to be to make a good profit. So then we have a conversation with the seller. But what I see so often is people are like, oh, I don't have any offers, so I need to go back and reduce with the seller. It's like, no, dude, go get your offers and get somebody that will close at that price. Then go talk to the seller and tell them, hey, I've already got everything taken care of. We have offers. We can move forward. It's just going to be in 3 weeks, right? Like we're going to close in 3 weeks. It's going to be at this price. That ends up working out way better than let me just reduce it with the seller.
Because everyone's number one question on the retrade call is like, can you actually get it done at this price? Like, is it guaranteed? Like, I know like you know, whatever, we're changing things, but I don't want to change it again. I don't want to be in this spot. That's everyone's question. That's all they care about.
Yeah. Another thing that we'll do is when we put it on the market, we'll watch Zillow. Like if we're going to do an ovation, or if it's a cash deal, like we're throwing it on Investor Lift right now. And if we're not getting interest in the first weekend, then we're already lowering the price, and we're telling the seller that we're teeing them up for a price reduction. So first weekend, no interest. We just say, hey, just so you know, there's no interest. Could have timed the market wrong. Like we could have been wrong about the price. We're likely going to need to reduce in the next couple of weeks, but we're not doing it yet. We're going to keep trying. That way they don't hate us. We're like, okay, we're still trying to make this work. And that's what we've had a lot of success with too, is one of Austin's, if you guys don't know, Austin runs like my entire back end dispo, contract to close, all that stuff. One of his metrics right now, like we just brought on a new TC, so he can just focus on calling sellers every single week, update or not, letting them know where we're at, building that relationship with them. So that way, if anything happens, like we've been communicating the entire time, and it helps us a lot to be able to get our dispo process cleaned up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think the biggest thing on dispo too, and like I've seen it a lot right now, is when we implemented talking to every seller minimum, no matter what, one time a week, just like that is the baseline. But then the other implementation was whoever's the point of contact, which for us is dispo. So like Austin is like every time there's some kind of interaction with the property, whether we go out to the property, whether someone goes out to the property, you call the seller and tell them what happened, no matter what. Those two things, like there's no whole, and then when we get a new contract, within like an hour, calling them and doing a welcome call with the seller, those three things like transformed. Like obviously sellers are still going to be crazy and back out, but it eliminated that by like 80%, probably 90%.
It's huge, man. So, and it's funny, we do the exact same thing. I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I learned this in the mortgage industry because I had this sales manager and he would make us fill out this tracker. And so I used to have to call my clients that are in escrow every single week, the client, the listing agent, the buyer's agent, every single week with an update, whether we have one or not. And so eventually we just started doing that for wholesaling as well. And that one change, dude, when we implemented that, our contract to close went from 65% to 89%. And then the next quarter was 91%. And so it's not that right now. It's lower than that. I think our contract to close is going to end up at like 67. But still, like for this market, it's doing good. And that one change was huge. So we do a handoff. First thing we do is we make sure that if it's a novation, they know that's going on the market. That way, if they don't, we have a conversation with AC, we get them back on, make sure that that's cleared up. And so you find that out right away. You don't put it on the market and then wait for them to say like, hey, I didn't know this was going to be on the market. That's not a conversation you want to have, right? No. And then I'm going to steal that because we're not doing that every single time there's an interaction with the property. But we are doing it once a week. So we give an update once a week. I like that. And if I can get Austin to be able to do every single time there's an interaction, I could see how that would help even more.
Dude, you get like, at least for me, because I ran the process for a little bit when I was implementing it because I wanted to work the kinks out.
Yeah.
And so I did it with like three files. And dude, those people loved me. Like, when I did it like that, it was like I was like their son, you know. they're like we would talk about, they're like one of the guys, he went to spend a lot of time in South America. We talked about it all the time. I sent him pictures of my trip when I was down there, and it was just fun. Cool. Like it was just homies. And I had to hit him with a retrade on a novation where we were making 15K. It wasn't anything crazy, but I had to retrade him, and he was fine with it. He's like, whatever. Another deal, like the fucking HVAC got stolen like last minute. There was a survey issue, just an absolute nightmare. Took like 3 extra months to close it. So seller was like, of course she was upset, but it was
they'll work with you because your communication's good.
Yeah. Dude, it's just how deals are.
It's such a good point. We got some questions in the chat if you want to answer some of these.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, Philip, we'll go for you. Well, we got a couple other people. Chandler saying, legend, I'm tired of cold calling and SMS. Bedtime baby lullaby. Bedtime baby lullaby. I'm going to send PPC 10K a month in 2 months. Yeah, you'll find success with that. Do you guys market nationwide or in specific areas? So I'll answer and then I'll let Chandler go as well. I don't do nationwide. Too much of a headache to find title companies and escrow and understand their purchase agreement laws and all that stuff. So what I do is I target 5 markets: SoCal, Birmingham, Atlanta, Houston, and Springfield, Missouri. Springfield mainly for my rentals. Chandler, so I like just doing like a couple of markets. We talked about this last week about most of the companies that we see doing well right now are starting to go broader. So like they're in one metro, they're going to go into like 2 or 3 metros in the same state. And so we're doing all of that with PPC. But Chandler, what about you? What do you see and work better, like straight up nationwide or 5 markets?
Dude, straight up nationwide takes a special breed to do that, in my opinion. So I don't know if that's, I agree. I think you need to, I think the 2 to 4 market strategy, three to five, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're doing multiple is ideal. That's what I recommend to all my clients. I'd say like you want at least a population of like 10 million, I think right now, just from like a population perspective. And depending on the competition, you might want more. But I'd say like that's kind of like what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at it from like a more analytical perspective. I think because we were talking about last week, the pie of total deals has just shrunk for like there used to be 100 deals, now there's 50, but there's the same number of operators, so everyone's getting squeezed out. So if you're doing 10 deals a month, now you're only gonna do 5, and so now you're not profitable. And so I think the only way to really increase that is one, you got to take more market share, or two, you got to increase the size of your market. That's really the only way to combat it. And so I think that's like, and like your cost per deal is substantially cheaper if you leverage multiple markets. Like John, I don't know what you're seeing for cost per deal for you, but we just had a buddy of mine who does he does about 450K a month in his business, flipping and doing some wholesale, like 60-40 wholesale, 60% wholesale, 40% flipping. And his cost per deal is like $8,300, but his deal size is much larger and he's been around for a long time. And so he can sustain that. Whereas like if you don't have as much of a marketing budget to spend a cost per deal of like 6K, 5K, I mean, you got to dish out 20 grand before you can even know if you get results or not. So it's just tougher. So
I can tell you right now that our cost per deal, and when we were in SoCal alone, it got as high as 15 grand. Now our average deal size was 50. It was like 50,200. So it ended up, we ended up still being profitable with that, but it was like, geez, you got to spend to get consistency. Cause if your average deal size, if your average cost per deal is 15 grand, that means if you spend 15 grand a month, you're not getting a deal every month. You're going to have 0 and then 2, and you're going to be a roller coaster.
You got to spend like 40K, 40K minimum.
Yeah. So that's what we had to do to get like consistent. Dude, my cost per deal right now is $1,750. It's insane.
Yep.
So it's what happened is my when I was just in SoCal, my cost per lead was insanely high. I think a big part of that was who I was using. I was using I think we talked about him last week. So BC, and I call them Bait and Switch Collective. And so we were using them, and our cost per lead was like super fucking high. It was like
anyone who's done well with them.
Same. So it was like $800 to $1,000 cost per lead, and then we'd have to close everything. Like if it was a deal, like if the seller even like thought about selling, we had to close it to stay profitable, and luckily we did. But then we moved to these other areas, and my overall cost per lead right now is $81. And that's PPC. And because we're in those other markets right now, obviously our profit per deal is not $50,000 anymore because we're not in SoCal only. So we'll still get those big rips every once in a while. But the cool thing is we'll still get leads in SoCal. So it's not like I'm paying $600 for a lead in SoCal and $50 for a lead in Birmingham. Like our campaigns are set up to target all of those areas. So we'll get some leads in SoCal. The majority of them come from like Atlanta, Birmingham, places like that. But dude, yeah, it's our cost per lead's way down. Question on the first call: how do you get to the condition and price, but still sticking into? So I use condition. Gustavo, if you're familiar with my sales process, I go needs, anchor, consequence, obstacles, meaning time frame, influencers. What are they going to do with their stuff? And then the last question I ask is condition. So I just say, hey, we're going to do an inspection on the property. What do you feel like is going to come up? And that's where I get that. Bedtime Lullaby asks, what's the script for retrade? I'll let you go, Chandler, and then I'll talk about my process.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a script. It's more of a flow. Obviously, there's some like negotiation, like lingo you're going to specifically use and to close it and, framing. But generally, we'll go over the high level process. Basically, when you get a contract signed, it starts when you get the contract signed on your dispo process. So there's a handoff from acquisitions to dispo. So, if you do this yourself, obviously you're going to run the whole process yourself. But whenever you sign a contract, you're going to basically do an intro call with them to reset all the expectations that should have been set on the sales call. But sometimes on the sales calls, we have to miss things or not go into as much detail to get deals signed to create less friction. So we basically want to just make sure that they know everything is going to happen. Like when we're going to come out to the property, getting a lockbox on the property, when we're going to take pictures, what it looks like what our communication needs to look like together. If you don't communicate, here's what happens. Like we can't do our job, because that's the biggest issue on the back end is people not replying to you. So you got to harp on that pretty heavily. And then like, hey, if you don't answer, like, what should I do? Like, we're trying to close this out. Like what's going to happen? And so you're just going to basically go through a bunch of those different things that create problems in your back end process. And we're going to handle that all up front. It's about 20-minute call or so. And then we just leave that call setting up basically transferring the authority from acquisitions to the dispo person. Like dispo is now the authority of driving the deal forward within the seller's eyes as well. And so we're building some rapport, showing that, hey, we're here to basically set the frame that, hey, we're here to get this done for you as fast as we can. And we're going to work as hard as we can. So the frame we're setting. Then we're basically going to move forward. And every time we got to the prop, so this is about speed on dispo. So like the retrade script, like the script I could give you, but you have to have the whole process to actually have success with this. The whole key with dispo and retrades is to have speed. So we don't get properties like the median time it takes for us to get a property from contract to listed or to marketed is 4 days. So that's how long it takes us to go from contract signed to having pictures and having it marketed out to our buyers. It's 4 days. From there, it's 15 days if it's on the MLS is our goal to have pictures to contract, and it's 7 days to have if it's off market. And that's the median that we're shooting for. And what that allows us to do is we have a lot of touch points with the seller very quickly, back and forth. So, if I'm 4 days to marketed, I'm talking to you on the handoff call. The next day I'm talking to you, or the next day or two, I'm talking about pictures and the feedback from the pictures. So, hey, like I saw a leak, I saw a watermark on the ceiling. Hey, I saw there was mold under the sink. Like, do you know anything about these? Like, you didn't tell us, we didn't have this in our notes. Just wanted to, basically we're setting the stage to kind of like, this is worse than we thought. We're still going to try as hard as we can, et cetera. But just wanted to get your input from what these were. Cool. Hey, I'll have this thing live. Or, we'll be sending our team out there, contractors, whatever, next couple of days, whatever the expectations it is. And then every time someone goes to the property, we're going to be just giving them feedback, the seller feedback from what was said. So if we have a showing and we have buyers out there, maybe it's framed as contractors, whatever you're framing it as, this is the feedback we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, it depends on the deal and how much rapport I have with the seller. But sometimes if I feel like we got BS offers and we didn't do a good job on our side, I'll basically just tell them like, hey, like the good news is we got an offer. We're able to move forward. The bad news is it's lower price. So they're going to be like, what's the price? We're going to tell them like, oh, we were at 220 or whatever. Oh yeah, we have to be at like 205 in order to move forward. We can get it closed out in this much time, whatever, because we have a buyer now. And if they're like, no, I don't want to do it. Cool. Hey, no worries. Let me just get a couple more people out there. I think we can maybe work on some quotes and whatever. We'll just have another walkthrough for all these different people to go through. And then when they go out there, maybe you can try to get a better deal, or you can just come back and counter like, hey, like I know the 205 didn't work for you, but if I was able to like, I'm not saying I can, but if I was able to come up any, like, because maybe we can be a little bit flexible on some of the quotes and I can get some more contractors out there to get us better deals on certain things. Would there be any number that would make sense for you if I can work down my GC and my contractors, and then you can squeeze them, whatever. And then you can work a deal potentially there, or you can get more people out there, or you go for the retrade. It just kind of depends on the deal, but you want to have multiple touch points like that. And that's obviously not the full retrade process, but it's like,
it's pretty good.
It's the gist.
Yeah, that's good. Cause I follow the same thing. Like the retrade, you don't want to just go in. The worst thing you can do is not talk to the seller for 3 weeks and then call them and be like, hey, by the way, the price is going to be lower. Right. So we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I follow a very similar process where the second we get out there, we see something that's wrong with it, or we see that the offers are going to come lower. We tell them, hey, probably going to need to reduce it, but we're going to keep trying it. Hopefully we don't. Keep working it. The only difference with my process for a retrade is when I say, hey, the offers came back at 205. I just go, would that still be enough for you to be able to do X, Y, and Z? So like whatever they're trying to accomplish, they're trying to buy another house. I just add that language in there. Hey, good news is we have a buyer. We can close on it. Bad news is it is a little bit lower than what we initially offered you. It would be coming in at 205. Would that be enough for you to be able to buy that next house? Maybe it might be, but I was really hoping for X, Y, Z. Well, why do you feel like it might be enough? Then we just like keep going through that process until we get them to go, yes, this would actually help me. So there's a little bit of objection handling there
Yeah,
too.
that's great. I love that frame. I normally
Yeah.
like, I think that's a good addition, because normally when I do it, it's like, I just kind of leave it like you're giving them an offer. Basically, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you can take it or leave it. And if they're like, oh, I don't know, like what, like, then it's just like the frame I go to is like, well, what happens if you don't sell this thing? Like, I know like you need to sell it for XYZ reason. Like, what happens if you don't? And then we can
Yeah.
confront the objection, but it's a little bit less. It seems like you're more against them in that way rather than like where you framed it. So I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I try to take that needs-based approach. But dude, yeah, I think that was a good retrade process. How do you explain to the seller about the novation strategy? That's a loaded question.
Yeah, dude, that's like a hour-long call.
Yeah, or I'll give you like a 30-second kind of rundown on what we do. Is the first thing we do is they typically have three main objections, like the money, the time, or the convenience. And so we'll just tell them like, hey, that there's typically three components of a sale: money, time, convenience. Now it sounds like you're not flexible on the money at all. They're like, no, I need 330. Okay, let's say I can get you 330. Would you be flexible with us on the time? Well, what do you mean? Well, let's say instead of 60 days, it took 30. Would you be completely opposed to that? No, I wouldn't be completely opposed to another 30 days if I got $30,000 more. All right, and let's talk about the convenience. Like typically when we buy it with our investors, we walk through it twice. Would you give us an additional 4 to 5 showings? Well, who's going to be there? We'll explain it, and then we'll go, okay, well, you know how when you list it on the market, there's one agent, they try to sell your property, but they're basically just going to put it on the market, hope and pray somebody calls in. Our process is the exact opposite of that. We have a team that we can put it on the market as well. We just don't charge you anything. And we're going to be calling buyers, drumming up interest for your property. And that way we can get you that $330,000 price. Now, I'm not saying I could do it, but if I could, would you be opposed to that? No, I'm not opposed to it. And then we just kind of explain our strategy that way. Was that 30 seconds, Chandler? How'd I do?
Dude, I think that was like maybe 65, but that was beautiful.
You got anything to add to that?
I think the biggest thing, like I'll add, like if we're talking about explaining it, the biggest thing is that people are like, if people don't see the value in what service you're providing by doing this, it's going to be really hard to do innovation. If they're going to be really particular on access,
Yeah.
if they're going to be really hard on that, like that's going to be a pain in the ass, and you're going to want to make sure that like you treat these people as like a client rather than like a seller, because you're working together with them and they need to be cooperative. So I think that's a really important thing. Like if someone's like, if you're trying to like basically do everything you can just get the contract signed, you get like 2 showings and it's like, you can only get in at these certain 1 hours. Like it's going to be, you're going to cut your buyer pool in half. And right now in the market, it's going to be really hard to sell that deal. And so you need them to be on your team and like be willing to work with you and have pretty much like much more unlimited access rather than limited in my opinion. And so in the dispo call, we like, no matter what, we just ignore what the acquisition team says. We always just say, hey, like, can I let you know within 24 hours notice if we're going to send someone out to the property? And they're always pretty much like, yes, after that point in the conversation. And if we get a lockbox, it's ideal. That goes a long ways. And the other thing I'd say too with novations right now is at least how we're underwriting them to see a little bit more, like to price them much more effectively and to be able to run our processes. We're discounting everything 10%. So we're doing 90% of market value. We're subtracting $25K for the fee and then $15K for concessions and then minus all other expenses in the transaction.
It's good underwriting. Yeah. I think a lot of people are struggling with that because it's not 2022 anymore where you can literally just go,
100%,
all right.
no, nothing.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, what is the property? What's the property worth? And then that's basically what I'm gonna get it under contract for, because it's gonna go way over that.
Dude. And then it's gonna sell for 30K rask.
Yeah, exactly. You make a 60K rip. Good times. But dude,
great times.
I will say, I feel like these times, I feel like it's coming back. I feel like there was a wave of 2021, basically 2020, 21, 22, like wholesalers were crushing it. Everybody was making money. And then 23 happened, 24, basically everyone got out of the business and everybody's doing, what is everybody doing now? AI? They're all starting AI businesses, right? If one of you motherfuckers Instagrams me one more time and fucking sells me on your AI bullshit, I'm going to fucking come through the screen. No, I'm kidding. But it's bad, bro. Like, there's a lot of people doing like AI stuff and they're all selling those.
It's interesting. The AI thing's an interesting thing. Dude, what is
Well,
everyone doing? I think a lot of people are just not doing anything.
yeah, there's a lot of people just sitting on the sidelines being brokies.
Yeah.
You want to see something crazy though? If you look at if you compare, we're talking about Google Trends. If you compare AI to anything, the interest of this is crazy. So, like for example, this is AI. Give me a keyword that you would think is
Just
hot
look
right
up
now.
fucking look up, I don't know, look up Tesla or Taylor
Tesla.
Swift. Yeah.
I was gonna say Taylor Swift's probably hevier.
She's
Yeah,
pretty heavy.
Tesla. AI crushes Tesla right now.
Look up Trump.
Oh, he's gonna beat AI. I would bet.
Dude,
Which
that's
one's
pretty
Trump?
big actually.
Yeah, well, AI is bigger than Trump right now.
Yeah. Look up
So,
Charlie Kirk. See how big Charlie Kirk is.
oh, dude, I
I've been
love
playing around
Charlie
with Google
Kirk.
Trends a lot more after our last call.
Charlie Kirk
Holy
is just a
shit.
straight shoot up. It's just
Wow.
like,
Dude, did you see
dude,
this thing? So I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this morning. There's a pretty strong evidence that states that he got shot from the back.
I've heard that.
The,
I try not to buy into any of that stuff. All I can say is that, like, I believe it. All I can say is that dude started such a great. I think he started such a great movement. And if you guys are like watching this and you're like hate me for that, there's an unsubscribe and an unfollow button on all my social media platforms because I don't give a fuck. Like he, dude, I think he started such a great movement, and man, it's super sad to see what happened. But I try to. There is evidence there. I mean, I think there's also pretty good evidence to say, like, I was a sniper in the Marine Corps. So, like, the shot, like, it was a sloppy shot with a sloppy gun. You know what I mean? Like, it was a hunting rifle. Like, it didn't, to me, nothing screamed like assassin, right? Or trained sniper. Because a trained sniper, like, at 300 yards, bro, you could pick which eyeball you want to hit.
yeah.
And so it did seem like just a sloppy fucking jackass just got up there with a hunting rifle and honestly got lucky, dude. Like he got lucky. So
Yeah. Because he barely
sucks.
took him, honestly.
Yeah, but he got his
Artery.
jugular. Yeah, if you get shot in the jugular, there's basically nothing you can do because when a bullet, I believe he got shot with a 308. So like if it's a 5.56, like something smaller, it just kind of zips through. But a 308 basically like everything inside of from your neck up, just get like a shockwave. So probably did some brain damage. It was bad, man. So it's sad, but yeah, if we look at Charlie Kirk beats AI. He's at like 13.7 million followers on Instagram in the last, I don't know. He shot up. He's like bigger than Tony Robbins right now.
That's
But
crazy.
it does seem like, anyway, we got way off track.
No, but I mean, honestly, dude, what do you
RIP.
think that does for the world? Like, actually, like me, I mean, we're just talking about whatever. We can talk about
Yeah.
anything, but the U.S. government, dude, like the U.S. as a whole, like, I'm not optimistic on the U.S. for the next 30, 40 years.
I think it launched a pretty conservative movement. I think like conservatives are coming out of the woodwork and it seems like they flipped. So like it used to be a lot of like the loud ones were the liberal movement, right? Like any of the Democrats, they were loud, right? They were like very much like protesting in the streets and on the campuses and saying all this stuff. And it was kind of scary if you were a conservative because if you're conservative, like you're going to get canceled. And it, like for the first time in almost ever, there's been liberals getting canceled for saying stupid stuff. And so I don't know. I think it like overall, I think it swung the country in a different way.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No, I do 100%. I'm just saying like more so from like the economic perspective.
How so?
Like, I just feel like, I don't know. It's a very precarious situation with the interest rates being high, with our debt being high, with no one having trust in like the bonds. Like, it's like everyone thinks rates are going to, like, I guess and maybe I'm thinking about real estate in general and some different business and stuff. But me and one of my buddies is a big multifamily guy. He like, anyways,
Tyler, right?
Yeah, Tyler. You met Tyler. Yeah. Good guy. Love, super successful, whatever. And he was just saying like he's talking to some brokers and they're like, dude, they're at a Fannie Mae convention and they were saying that like there's $25 million losses like happening like all the time. Fannie Mae's like losing millions, and I know you were a loan officer before, but it's like they're losing tons and tons of money. because all this bridge debt is going through or not going through. And I think that's like obviously a difference in commercial space. It's a lot different from the real estate stuff. But if I think a lot of people are still banking on rates going down, and I just don't think it's going to happen because I don't think foreign countries are going to want to have more trust in the U.S. government. Really, that's where I feel, because rates are like, they're still pretty high, even though the Fed lowered the reserve rate. The bonds are in your treasury is still up. So
Ray Dalio has been saying some scary shit for a while, dude. He's been saying that. He's like, dude, there's dark times coming. And if you guys weren't on at the beginning of this video, we did Google Trends help with my mortgage. And it's like we have just as many people asking for help with their mortgage as 2008. But prices have not come down yet. So, I mean, I still think that's the reason why, people are making a lot of money, but I think it's kind of like, I do honestly believe you got to make hay while the sun's shining. Because I don't know if this is going to last, man. It does seem like eventually, not that either one of us are economists, but there's some 0%, but it does seem like there's some pretty good indicators that say, if more people are facing financial hardship than in 2008, what does that say? I
mean, I will say, and again, I think we could be partial to just being in real estate, whatever, but from 2022, selling coaching and mentorship, whatever, the number of people who, and this is just from the other side, the number of people who pay everything in full was like everyone in 2021 and 2022. Everyone could pay 10, 20, 30K in full, every time. No one really was like, oh, do you have a payment plan? Now I'd say the number of people who pay in full or even ask to pay in full, because we don't even offer a pay in full. We just only do basically financing. So only do monthly payments pretty much. And it's very rare that people are paying in full. So I've seen it from that perspective. And my dad does landscape construction. So he does a lot of, and this is in Atlanta. And he's in a more wealthy upper middle class area that he services. He's doing, if you know Roddy White, the football player, I think he's going to do his house backyard renovation. He does the guy sold his company for 150 million. He's doing his yard redesign. So he works for high class people generally. But on the maintenance side, he said they can't get anyone who wants to sign up on a weekly maintenance program anymore. It used to be everyone only wanted to do maintenance on a weekly basis. And now everyone wants to do bi-weekly or once a month, because he said things are tightening up a lot. And I mean, it all makes sense. I mean, it's heading that way. And I don't know. I'm not here to be a pessimist. I'm just here to be a realist about that's where things are going. So we got to take advantage of it while we can.
Well, here's the thing is I'm opposite with you right now, because I think that I see more people that have, and I also wasn't, when I was during the COVID times, 2021, 2022, I wasn't doing coaching. So I didn't know what that was like, but I can tell you over the last 2 years or so, 2-3 years, I have seen a lot more people making a lot more money and wholesaling. I'm talking about specifically people that have just got into it recently, started to scale, younger kids that are making a lot more money, the people that, it's funny, I was talking to my sales reps for the coaching side, and they were like, fuck this, dude, I want to get in the wholesaling. Everybody's making a shitload of money. And they got a bunch of, so I think if you have, it kind of comes back to what we talked about last week. If you know what you're doing right now, you have good marketing, you have a good sales process, and you can win in dispo, you are going to absolutely crush, right? At least for now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but at least for now.
I 100% agree with that.
And if you don't, you're going to get left behind. I think that's the big thing, is people are getting left behind. And I feel more of a 2022 coming, 21, 22, big upswing coming because of the amount of distress. And housing prices are not the best, but they haven't tanked. It's not 2008. You know what I mean?
They're just going slowly down.
You got to get ahead of the underwriting. You can't be looking at solds. You got to look at actives when you're doing that stuff. But I don't feel like the housing prices have caught up with the level of distress that's in the market right now. And I think that's why you have a lot of companies that are doing really, really good. We're consistently just hitting our best months right now. And And I think a lot of it has to do with just being in front of the right people, because there's a lot of them, having a good sales process and being able to sell them. And then for you, like you're seeing the same thing on your Facebook. Like, when in history have you had $47 Facebook leads for foreclosures?
I mean, I don't really think it's
Never,
much of
right?
it doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing it across like several accounts.
Yeah.
Like
It's
probably
crazy,
at least
man.
6 or 7 accounts.
So I think, like, all in all, for you guys that are listening, you're like, what the hell? Like, what should I get out of this? Like, what am I taking away? Like, it's a crazy time. I would try to take advantage of it while it's happening and try to stack some cash away, because this is a really good time where you can run a super profitable business.
Mm-hmm.
Stack some cash away in case this doesn't continue, because who knows, dude? Maybe in 2 years, you and I are going to be talking about AI.
We just might even be AI at that point, bro.
We might be AI, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody's moving that.
I do think the things that's good with what's going on right now is because things have gotten tougher. I do think most people had been forced to get smarter and innovate and do it at like a more profitable rate.
Yeah.
Using AI, using different tools, whatever. Like I do feel like the game has totally evolved over the last period of time. Like if you're not, if you don't have like a retrade process right now, or if you don't have like, it's like 3 years ago, no one really did novations. Like now everyone basically does novations.
Yeah, it's like you have to.
Yeah, it's like just things like this. There's a ton of different iterations of this, but it's going to evolve more and more. And I think people are getting better. And it's just because of that, we're able to make it. So
I agree. I mean, you could basically just throw rocks and for a living back then, like 21, and
there was like no competition, and it was quite easy. I mean, you got a contract, you'd sell it basically.
But this is, I think it's an awesome time right now. Next week, we should talk about. We should talk. I don't know. Are you going to be around next week?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. Next week I'm here, bro. I'll be here.
We're back, guys. We're back on weekly lives. So we'll be back next week for our lives. We're going to actually do it now. We should talk about some of the AI stuff, because I know you're doing stuff with it inside of wholesaling businesses. Like, you guys have Go High Level built out, like what you're actually using it for. I mostly just use ChatGPT as Google. That's about as much as I do.
Dude, yeah. ChatGPT is like, I probably talk to ChatGPT an hour a day, honestly, just random shit.
Dude, you know what I've done is I uploaded every single, like, all my sales training of me coaching my team, like every single thing. I uploaded into a platform called Manus AI. And dude, it's better than ChatGPT. It's like way more detailed. It's like an autistic ChatGPT. And Manus.ai, dude, I uploaded everything in there. So like, if ever I have like anybody has a question, they're like, what would John say? Like, what would John do in this situation? You could just ask it, and you can upload just like hours and hours of transcripts. Can you schedule it at a different time from the school role play? I don't even know I have a school role play at this time, Will. That must be the one with Juan. I don't actually run that. But yeah, are you looking at Manus? Are you going to put it on your? I see you putting it on your calendar.
Manus?
Manus.ai.
Okay,
really
I found im.ai.
Oh, Will asked, can we role play with your AI bot? Dude, I should build that out.
Bro,
I've seen a couple people. Train's doing it.
Apparently built one out.
I've heard it's good too. Like, I've heard the AI bot, like, it'll grade you and it'll go through your feedback and stuff like that. Like, obviously there's a little bit of a lag because we're not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever talk to ChatGPT, it's super surprising how, like, it uses verbal cues now. And so, like, if you just go in here and you're like, hold on, I could do it. Let me see.
What up,
Hey,
Rohan?
ChatGPT, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Always happy to help out. Let me know if there's anything else on your mind.
Do you think Charlie Kirk was shot from the back or the front?
Well, just to be clear,
so, like, I wonder what ChatGPT would have said. But you know what I mean? Like, it's actually like, it's like using verbal cues now. So I think that in the near future, we're going to have some sort of AI that's going to be able to talk to people. I don't know if it'll ever, well, eventually it's going to replace salespeople.
Dude, I mean, do you have a Tesla?
I did have a Tesla. I don't have a Tesla right now.
I mean, that shit drives itself, bro.
Oh,
It's
100%.
it's
Dude,
definitely pretty good.
Austin, I saw these Waymos everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's 100% the future, dude. That's scary as shit, but it's awesome.
Dude, they're literally no one's gonna be driving cars. It's gonna be illegal to drive cars in probably 15 years.
Dude,
20 years.
Rohan is a savage, by the way. I'm going to end it on that. If you guys don't know Rohan's a freaking savage. But we are going to be back next week live. So we're going to start going live every single week. We're going to talk about what's working.
Hit us with some questions.
Yeah, we went
in the
we
DM
went deep
somewhere.
in
I don't
Q&A.
know. Fucking DM us.
Yeah, we'll post these on IG next time as well. So,
Yep.
Chandler, I will see you next week, dude. Don't fall off a cliff.
Yep. You either, brother.
All right, later, brother. Let me end that. There we go.